When I see the future, I close my eyes. I can see it now. This is the picture. 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 This is the picture.
I wanted to do a follow-up on the art department that I featured from the July broadcast, where the BMW hidden in plain sight on the back of the old songbook. Now, it's not a new thing for artists to hide things within their art. A famous example would be Michelangelo, who painted the Sistine Chapel for the Pope. He hid a number of things in his artwork. Here's the image of God creating Adam, but hidden in plain sight is the right half of the human brain. And it's not just the outline that's accurate. All the internal brain parts are accurately painted in this piece of work. It seems Michelangelo was digging up bodies in the church graveyard and dissecting them to learn human anatomy, but that's a story about heresy for another time. So what about Watchtower and their artists? Let's look at a couple of examples. Here's an image of Zeus and how he is normally depicted. Now look at this 1983 Watchtower. Do you see Zeus? Hiding images in the folds of clothing is a favourite trick, especially with Watchtower. But it's interesting, the following year, Watchtower did an article on rumours, and they said this. It says, even the Watchtower Society's publications have been the subject of rumours. For example, that one of the artists had secretly been introducing pictures of demons into the illustrations, and was subsequently found out and disfellowshipped. Did you share in spreading any such stories? If so, you were perhaps, unwittingly, spreading an untruth, since they were all false. Yes, it was indeed a false rumour. They never did disfellowship him. Now, I don't know if the artist that's featured in the upcoming July broadcast is responsible for this, or whether it's governing body policy, or whether it's just an individual artist acting on his own, trying to see what he can get away with, see what he can hide. Look at this example of not so hidden. So imagine the governing body give the art department a brief of what they want for a picture for an article. In this case, a robber. An artist chose from his imagination whether to have a closed bag of loot, whether to have some jewellery spilling out. What kind of jewellery? Okay, a necklace. What shape or design of a necklace shall I choose from my imagination? I think I will go with a traditional Illuminati symbol of Horus and the all-seeing eye and a triangle pyramid-y thing. Yeah, that's my first choice. And then someone would have no doubt been charged with closely inspecting the drawings or painting and giving it the all clear before the governing body finally look at it and say, yes, good job. Who thought that this was okay? The Revelation book has some lovely pictures in it requiring artists to use their imagination. Someone here thinks that not all the king priests are good guys. He decided to paint one of the king's hands to look like a gnarly skeleton undead demon type hand. Talking of demons, I encourage you to go have a look at the September the 15th Watchtower of 2005. I'll put a link in the description of where you can download it. If you go to page 21, you'll find a rare article where they actually discuss Jesus. And they use, throughout the article, imagery of footprints in the sand, like the old poem. Now, when you get to page 25, there's an odd sand pattern at the bottom of the page. And when you see artwork that's fussy and overdone, that's usually a good clue that there's some shenanigans going on. Now, I encourage you to get the page, print it off, and place a mirror along this bottom edge. And this is what you get in a Watchtower about Jesus Christ. How awful is that? This image that I've put up hasn't been altered in any way. It's literally a mirror image of the bottom half of page 25 that someone took great care to paint. No line is here by accident. It's not pure chance that it looks like eyes, or a mouth and teeth and horns. None of that is there by accident. It's the choice of the person that drew or painted this for food at the proper time. I could go on. The internet has many examples of Watchtower art, and they don't stop at pictures, of course. As you can imagine, videos work well too for handing out the imagery that they want. Just one little example. Look at this Caleb and Sophia video. Now, in photography and cinema, the composition, the position of objects in the frame are usually done by following the rule of thirds. This is why your camera has this grid function on it, because things look better and the eye is drawn to certain areas of a shot. And so the person you want to focus on should align where one of the vertical lines intersects with a horizontal line. Notice in this Caleb episode how they use this to good effect. And sometimes they'll want you to focus on two things, like here. See how those images intersect those points on the grid. An exception to this rule is when they place something here. They do this when they really, really, really want you to focus on this thing. So notice who they place in this box.
All lies are bad, even little ones.
Notice what they did here. The composition has Caleb and the monster in the shot. But notice what happens. The monster moves into position, which attracts the viewer's attention onto him, and the sound that is played is in time with the movement of the monster, not Caleb.
But what about Jesus? Would he ever lie? Who do you want to be like? But what about Jesus? Would he ever lie? Who do you want to be like?
And so your brain is watching and listening to what the monster is saying, not Caleb. And so a child watching this, their brain receives this message.
But what about Jesus? Would he ever lie? Who do you want to be like?
I want to be like Jesus.
Good, my son.
Now, it might seem like I'm making a meal out of a small thing, but this stuff works. Advertisers use it, filmmakers use it because it works, and current artists at JW headquarters are using pictures and video to teach another gospel. So when the July broadcast comes out and they praise the work of one of their artists, just remember it's this same art department in the house of God, directed by Jesus, that is still producing beautiful images like these.
Oh, there's absolutely no doubt about it. This is your wake-up call.